If you're looking for some of the best old-fashioned burgers and cakes in town, Lotta Burger is the place to go for all of your favorites. Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. And items on their menu include single, double, triple burgers, Philly sandwiches, smoked sausages, beef hot dogs, grilled cheese, tenders, fries, onion rings, and more. Call-in orders must be done before 11 a.m. No calls accepted after 11 a.m. Drive-thru is available. Hungry for a burger? Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. Don't just settle for any burger. Get a Lotta Burger.
Are you tired of going to the doctor with the same issue over and over again and never getting any relief? Are you tired of buying all types of vitamins and supplements, hoping but not knowing for sure that they will keep you healthy? Or are you getting enough of the right kind of nutrients that your specific body needs? If you answer yes to any of these questions, you need a nutritional blood analysis. With a nutritional blood analysis, we can take one drop of blood from a prick of your finger and analyze your body's nutritional needs, nutritional deficiencies, and nutritional imbalances. This analysis can provide an early warning of possible future health challenges so you can make changes now to avoid the negative outcome. A nutritional blood analysis can be used to monitor a health challenge before and after adopting an approach to restore health and balance. It will also allow you the ability to determine the effectiveness of various approaches to restoring and balancing your health. So don't wait. Make your appointment. Stop guessing with your health. Know what works for sure. 901-602-7063.
And welcome. We are live in full effect in the building on a Monday. Talk Back Live Sports is here. I am your host, Joshua Midget, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys, as I always say, man, for tuning in, for watching, for listening, however you may be doing so. We do not take it for granted here on the Talk Back Live Network. This is Talk Back Live Sports on a Monday recap edition. Live and ready to go. with the recapping, so to speak. But man, definitely, again, shout out to everybody tuning in, checking out the show, however you may be doing so. It is definitely appreciated. So, man, so much going on. So much to talk about. Man, that's why I love Mondays, man. Mondays is Recap Monday here on Talkback Live Sports. And I say that for a reason, because usually the weekends a lot happening in the sports world. Whether you talk about football, whether you're talking about basketball, college or pro, or anything else in news. I'm just looking forward to getting this Recap Monday going. Once again, if you want to follow the show, keep up with all things Talkback Live Network, you can follow us on Twitter at Talkback Live. That's one word, at Talkback Live. Facebook, facebook.com, Talkback Live with Bob and Josh. Like our Facebook page, check us out there, as well as Talkback Live Network on Facebook as well. And we will keep you up to date with the latest happenings in the world of news, sports. Bread Bible Teachers as well is returning to the station, to the network, so y'all can keep up with everything with us. So, I'm going to just dive right into it, man. If you want to join the conversation, y'all know what to do. The number to call, 901-213-6020. Once again, it's 901-213-6020. And we will gladly let you on in and join the fun with us. So getting started here, I think it's only appropriate that the first thing I touch on is what is probably the biggest headline in the Memphis sports world, to put it that way, and that would be what happened with the Tigers this past weekend. Tiger football, Tigers took on Temple. As you know, I talked about it leading into the game. It was the biggest game of the season for multiple reasons. You're playing a Temple team that came into the game, I believe a 3-1 hit coming into the Tigers game. The Tigers came in 5-0, ranked in the top 25 in both polls, 23 in the AP top 25, 20 in the coaches poll, and everything was looking up, man. Looking like the Tigers could make a run here. Once again, their toughest opponent, going into Philadelphia to play the Temple Owls, and you didn't know what to expect. Me, I didn't want to get my hopes up too high because I love this Tigers team, but at the same time, you have to be real. They've shown some deficiencies in certain areas, and I'm not just talking about Brady White. You know how I feel about that. But as far as the offensive line, as far as the defense inconsistencies, Adam Fuller's defense, who I praised so heavily after the Ole Miss game, has shown that they can be gashed, that they can be run through at times. I still think it's a talented defense, and I think they're miles better than they were last year. There's a clear improvement, but they've also shown they can be had and be susceptible to big plays here and there. But y'all know, despite all of that, the Tigers still had their opportunities to win. Despite the first half, the Tigers still had opportunities to win, and Temple gave Memphis those opportunities, to be perfectly honest with you. And it just didn't happen. Now, when it looked like it was going to, when it looked like all was not lost, this right here was what they call the Memphis screw job, is what people are calling it, where, as you see, Brady White on a fourth down is being tackled as he throws it up for grabs to a wide-open Joey Magnifico. And Joey has to run back to the ball and make an incredible play and an incredible catch to keep the drive alive. Everybody's jumping up and down, including myself, that's watching it on ESPN2. Despite these terrible announcers on the game, we had no choice but to watch it on ESPN. And not only that, you know, you see and you say, man, that's clearly a catch. You see the ball didn't hit the ground. And you're looking here at the replay on your screen, the 3 different angles, 2 or 3 different angles that ESPN provided with their high-tech, high-definition cameras. You can see that the ball did not hit the ground anywhere. But the referees actually agreed with us in the beginning. They said, that's a catch. The 2 announcers, especially the color commentator who was terrible, he said, oh, that is clearly a catch. Look at that. He got it. It bounced off his arm, his legs, but he caught it. It doesn't matter if it wobbles around. It matters as long as you keep possession, as long as you do not let the ball hit the ground. And guess what? They went to the replay. They took a little longer than I expected them to, which had me worried off the bat. And as you know, the call was reversed. And as you know, that cost the Tigers the game. Now, after the game, because I went over this in my post-game live show on Saturday after the game. Some of y'all may have missed that. But this is the same replay I showed. And I'm sure you have seen this ad nauseum at this point. But moving to after the game. So here's what happened after the game. There was a lot of controversy that was generated because of this situation. And so did the AAC. So the AAC released a statement. AAC Commissioner Michael Resco, because they saw this was generating a lot of buzz on social media, locally and nationally. And here you see also on your screen a tweet from Drew Hill, who is the Memphis Tigers beat writer for the Daily Memphian. Here is, this is not his statement, this is Michael Resco's statement to Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian. Quote, this falls in line with the judgment call, and we would not make the replay available for that by conference policy. The ruling was that the Memphis player didn't have control of the ball as it hit the ground, and there was enough video evidence to confirm it. Now, here's where I called out that statement on Twitter. I don't have the tweet here like I have this one. But I'm going to say what I said on Twitter, which is at TalkBackLive, by the way, if you want to follow us there. I said, first of all, Michael Resco is lying to everybody because the ruling on the field was a catch. And everybody that watched the game saw that the ruling on the field was not an incomplete pass, and the replay confirmed it was an incomplete pass. The replay overturned the original call on the field. And to overturn the original call on the field, you need conclusive, non-discriminatory fact, indisputable evidence that the ball hit the ground. And we didn't get that. If you saw that replay, it is clear that this is nothing indisputable about it. It is every angle. As a matter of fact, the only thing indisputable is that it's a catch. So, all that being said, it's a shame, and this is going to be remembered for quite a while in Memphis football history because of the polarizing nature of the situation. So, hopefully, now, with all that being said, the Tigers are still 5-1. They still have a great record. They still have more games to play. The Tigers have Tulane coming up, another dual-threat quarterback that can run and throw, and a Tulane program that is improving as well. So we don't have enough time to cry and moan about this game. We got to move on and move forward. Now, I saw even T.J. Carter and several other players after the game said they basically got messed over in this game. And I can understand the emotions afterwards. I get it. Especially the defense. I think T.J. Carter had an outstanding game. Several key breakups. He did have a big penalty at one point, but Carter played really well in the secondary, in my opinion. He was not on the receiver that lit the Tigers up for as many yards. That was Francis, I believe, who's guarding that receiver. But nonetheless, Tigers do lose. And here's what I want to bring out to you guys. As much as that catch was a totally horrendous call, and as much as that might have cost Memphis the game, it might not have as well, because here's what you got to consider. One, let's say they count that catch. The Tigers still have to score. The Tigers are still down 2 points with a little time left. I think it's around a minute plus. It's enough time to do something. They were also in field range, but you also have to consider this. The fact that they're in field goal range does not confirm that they're going to make a field goal, because we've already seen Riley Patterson in clutch situations is not great. You know, he's no Steven Gostkowski here, you know, or Elliott. He's neither one of those guys. Jake Elliott, you know. So let's be real. And also, everybody's savior, Brady White, had 4 turnovers as well. Let me go to the phone lines before I go any further. And caller, welcome to the show.
What's going on? What's going on?
Hey, what's happening?
Out there?
How you doing?
Man, let me tell you. Oh, pretty good. So,
hey, let me get your name, by the way, for you.
Oh, it's Ron.
Ron, okay, go ahead.
All righty. So, you know, you have to, like you were saying earlier, you have to have indisputable evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to take some video clips and look through. And there's another the guy out there on Twitter, Jeb Hill.
Yes.
He really slowed it down drastically, right? And I kept looking at this,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, there's no way they couldn't call that a catch.
No way.
Period. There's no way, no matter what angle you took, it was a catch.
Yes.
Now, go to, and I can't do the exact wording, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to Article 5 in the NCAA rules of a catch, okay,
mm-hmm.
a receiving catch, if he has control of the ball, which he did until his shoulder and arm hit the ground with the ball underneath his arm,
mm-hmm.
okay, which I have seen that specifically. It was grainy, but you can tell his arm was under the ball. Then the ball joggled loose,
mm-hmm.
okay? The ball joggled loose as he hit the ground.
That's right.
With that being said, if you slow it down just his hip and his knee were down as he caught the ball. So
mm-hmm.
that is a complete pass. The ground, you can have the body hit the ground, the ball kind of move, okay,
mm-hmm.
and it does not, unless he loses the ball completely, okay.
Yeah.
The ball is now ruled a catch. What they did was they looked for reasons not to rule it a catch, opposed to ruling that it was.
Exactly.
Okay, in my opinion, right? And that's not what the replay was for. The replay was for to make sure he caught the ball, right?
Yeah.
And that he was down. He was down. It was over. The play was dead, okay?
That's right.
At the end of the day, the reason I am so upset, okay, is that and people will say, oh, we had all these turnovers and we had all this and we had all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We should have never been in that position. Well, you know, this is college football. South Carolina just beat Georgia, right?
Yeah.
South Carolina just beat Georgia,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Anything can happen, right?
That's right.
But what I loved about our Tigers is that we were able to get ourselves back in a position to get down the field and win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Would we have won the game? Who knows?
Yeah.
But we were denied the opportunity of the chance by making a bad call. Okay?
And see that, and I agree, Rod. And I'm gonna tell you too, all the great points you're making. It's a shame that it had to come to this because, like I said, we don't know what would have happened, but they were robbed of the opportunity to try. You know, and I still say though, and you probably would agree with this. At the end of the day, even as afterwards when I sat and really looked at things, you can't have 4 turnovers, and expect to win, even though, they came pretty close with the last drive there. You can't be as sloppy as specifically Brady White was in a lot of situations,
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Once again, I firmly agree with some of those statements. But what I did like about the Tigers was because they didn't give up.
Yeah.
They kept fighting through. They could have laid the egg. We've seen our Tigers do it before, right? They could have laid the egg and just laid down and got blown out by 40 points. But our defense came in there and held them to field goals. Our offense finally got moving, okay, which we need to learn how to play 60 minutes. But at the end of the day, my biggest thing is I'm hoping now that either BYU or Wyoming, which are the only 2 teams I think have a shot at beating Boise. Boise takes a loss, we're back into the New Year's Day 6 Bowl. This affects a lot of different things down the road. It doesn't just affect the outcome of the game, but it affects a lot of different things moving forward, right? So now we've got to hope and pray that Boise gets knocked off by one of those 2 teams. Those are the only 2 that I see really having a shot at beating them, okay?
Yeah.
The rest of they've had a tough schedule, but now it's starting to lighten up on the back half.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it knocks us out of the New Year's Day 6 Bowl. Now, as far as people out there yelling conspiracy theory, man, I don't see it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can't go that far.
There's no way the AAC is going to say, "Oh, we don't want Memphis going way up there in the rankings, and we don't want Memphis." They want that. Okay. the issue at hand is inconclusively, right? And the commissioner has watched some of the same video footage that the replay official watched.
Yeah.
Okay. If he's going to say that was an incomplete pass, okay, it's absurd to me. Okay, I don't know what he's looking at. Okay, they've come out and said that they are that they use the same footage that came from the TV, but it comes from the broadcast trailer. Okay, they're not using anything different. There was supposedly this NFL camera and all the for the NFL and an extra camera and this, that, and the other. Well, so be it, right? That shot was so grainy it was ridiculous.
Yeah, because
slow it down.
When they slowed it down, you couldn't really see much of anything. And Rod, man, okay. But yeah, I appreciate the call, man. A lot of great stuff. All right, and feel free to call again, man. Much appreciated.
Yes, sir. All right, have a good one, brother.
You too, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's Rod with the call. A lot of good stuff there. Y'all let me know what you think. I see comments coming in on Facebook as well. Verdell's talking about the statement as far as the AAC commissioner. Said, quote, "That was a crap statement." By my, I agree. I mean, you can't. And look, in his defense, and not that I want to defend the commissioner, but I will say this, right? You have to say something. He had to address it as best as he could. Maybe just tell the truth instead of saying this, because his statement was literally a lie. So I can't defend it in that aspect, but I guess maybe he didn't want to make his referees look bad. I don't know, but either way it goes, it is what it is. GKP coming in the building. Marvin said in field goal range. Yeah, and like I said, you don't know if Riley Patterson would have made it or not. He has the leg for it, but sometimes in high-pressure situations, like I said, he's no Jake Elliott or Gostkowski. GKP in the building. What's happening, brother? Marvin said we can have 4 turnovers. What are you talking about? He said if that's the case, we should have quit at halftime if the turnovers mattered. I mean, that's not really true. That's not true, because turnovers, look, what did those turnovers lead to? Those turnovers, now I will give the defense credit. Those turnovers should have led in the first half to 21-0. But instead, the Tigers defense stepped up and held them 13-0. But still, it put them at a disadvantage, because not only do you look at the points that Temple got after the turnover, you look at the points that you missed out on because of the turnover. So that's a double swing both ways. Because most of those turnovers happen inside Temple territory. You think about, I think in the second half, where Brady White was handing the ball off to one of the running backs, and they fumbled it, and Temple picks it up. That was huge. The Tigers win scoring position. The first turnover, the Tigers win scoring position. Those are potential touchdowns. If you get those touchdowns, you don't even come down to this last play with Joey Magnifico. It's just a fact. So I understand, it's not that you quit, and they fought back, but the point is, don't put yourself in that position if you can help it. The Tigers were robbed. Robbed it. Yeah. On that call, they were robbed. It's no question. But hopefully they play better heading into Tulane. Well, I still contend to the fact that if you don't put yourself behind the eight ball, this is the case in college, this is the case in the pros. You don't put yourself behind the eight ball, then you don't have to come back and rely on the referees at the end of the game. Never leave the game up to the refs. Never leave the game in the refs' hands if you can help it. And that's what happened. So, as bad of a call as it was, you don't want to leave it in the refs' hands. But that was just my thoughts. If you have thoughts, you can hit me up. 901-213-6020 is the number to call. I welcome disagreements. I welcome agreements. All of that stuff is welcome here on Talkback Live Sports. I'm your host, Joshua Midget, here on the Talkback Live Network, talking Memphis Temple. That was the biggest storyline from this weekend on the local level. And if you still want to talk about that, we are welcome as well. Here's a question I want to ask you guys as well. Got a lot of Tiger fans on here, so I want to ask you guys this question. How would you honestly grade Brady White's season up until this point? How would you honestly grade Brady White's season up until this point? The Tigers are 5-1. It's a very good record. The Tigers are now out of the top 25 in both polls because of this loss to Temple. So that's just it. So what do you think? How would you grade Brady White's season? A, B, C, D, F. Those are the criteria. And give me why. Why would you give him the grade that you're going to give him? A, B, C, D, F. Or double F. If you want to go that far. But that's what I want to know, man, because I think a lot of Tiger fans are kind of split on the issue. A lot of people have seen my thoughts on Twitter, where I've had strong opinions of Brady White's performance. But nonetheless, the team has had a great record. And a lot of that is due to the running game of Kenneth Gainwell, who is an absolute monster. I don't know where Mike Norvell finds these running backs consistently. Because think about this. Think about what the Tigers had in the backfield last year. Kenneth Gainwell was actually on the team last year. The Tigers had Kenneth Gainwell, Darrell Henderson, Tony Pollard, and Patrick Taylor in the same backfield. That is crazy. So I don't know what to say, man. It's incredible to see what Mike Norvell has done as far as the recruiting aspect of things. I'm not the biggest fan of Brady White. He's kind of what you got right now unless you go to Connor Adair. And I'm not seeing that happening anytime soon unless he really, really deteriorates. Plus, Mike Norvell's giving him every opportunity in the world. I think we've seen that. Mike Norvell's willing to let Brady White fail as much as possible just to give him the confidence he feels. But once again, guys, y'all give me a grade. Brady White's season. A, B, C, D, F. How do you feel? Greg says a C minus. Okay. Let's see. And Greg also says here, I missed. 2 of those turnovers were as we were in scoring range. Yeah, exactly. Exactly what I'm talking about. Kelly says if Temple didn't score the points they did after we turned the ball over, we probably having this discussion. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if they would have, that is. But like I said, Temple had multiple times to score that they didn't really capitalize on. And that would have really just been the nail in the Tigers' coffin in the previous game. So, y'all let me know what you're thinking. Kelly says C. Okay. A lot of people with the middle of the road grades. Okay. Greg says C- because he has, for the most part, managed games decently. He isn't terrible, but severely limited. I think that's a good way to put it. Because look, like I said, I'm fair and balanced. Is what I try to be. Not online like Fox News. I actually am fair and balanced. And I think in the second half, he played much better. It's one of those things. I noticed with Brady White, if he gets behind the 8 ball in a big way, like in a huge way, that first half was terrible. Not quite Navy terrible, or maybe worse. I don't know. But he knows he's bad. And he comes out and he really tries to prove a point, sometimes too much. And that's what you want. You don't want a guy that doesn't care. And one thing I've never said about Brady White is that he doesn't care. I think he cares a lot, but you just want your coach to put you in the right position, So, all that being said, y'all can still comment on that if you want. I'm going to move on to some other things here. I'm going to move on to the Dallas Cowboys. I know I got some Cowboys fans on the hook watching and tuning in here with me. And before I talk about the Cowboys, I want to introduce something to you guys that I think you might enjoy. Because of course I'm going to lead off with this. The Cowboys did lose. They lost. They didn't just lose. This is their 3rd straight loss. But y'all lost to the New York Jets. The New York Jets. The New York Jets. This is unbelievable. I couldn't believe it, man. I really thought, never been a Cowboys fan, but I really thought y'all were better than that. I really did. And y'all proved me wrong that you're not better than that. But I know somebody that a lot of people would consider the Cowboys' arch nemesis has some strong words for you guys after the game. So I'm going to play this, and I'll be right back. Y'all just take a listen.
I reckon you Cowboy fans are a little bit miserable today, aren't you? I mean, after all, you went from 3-0 and undefeated and everybody talking about that Super Bowl to being a mid-500 team right now. A matter of fact, right now, I'd say those playoff aspirations that you have are in low danger. I wonder where you're going to go from here. And I know you're wondering, what is that Stephen A. Smith going to say? Well, guess what? Today's Stephen A. Smith's birthday. But his present arrived yesterday. I'm so sorry. But in case you're crying, I got a little gift for you.
Oh, man, I love it. Y'all can hate on Stephen A. if you want to. That's become my favorite sports personality in the world just because of this. This right here. I love it, man. I'm curious. I know the comments are going to take a swift turn to the right here. But, man, y'all know he's telling the truth. A lot of angry faces. Who's angry? Oh, gee, looks like you're a lot of red faces coming up on the screen here. But y'all know the truth. Stephen A., all he does is tell the truth. He put the little baby filter on his face. I don't know if it was because it was his birthday or what. But it just made it even more hilarious. I love it. GKP. I don't even know what it is, man. I don't think I want to know. But look, okay, the Cowboys lose suddenly. I call it suddenly because it was shocking. It was almost like a car accident. You don't expect that to happen. 24-22. And, you know, as much as I'm not and never have been a Cowboys fan, I didn't see that coming whatsoever. But I know a couple people who did see it coming. Verdell, oh man, I forgot you're a Cowboys fan too. A lot of angry people at me. A lot of my faithful listeners here and angry. But here's the thing. You shouldn't be angry at me. You should be angry at Jerry Jones. You should be angry at Jason Garrett. That's who you should be angry at. I'm just pointing out the truth. The truth will set you free. What the Bible says. That's what I'm here to do. I'm trying to set y'all free. So check this out. You know who else is trying to set y'all free? A couple of former Cowboys that played under Jason Garrett have come out and completely dogged him out. Here's one. I got tweets for you today. Let's look at the screen. Who is that? That's Terrell Owens, Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, as well as the Philadelphia Eagles, as well as the San Francisco 49ers. He played a lot of places. T.O. was drama, don't get me wrong. And he's still drama, as I can see now, as he leaves. He tweeted directly at Jerry Jones. I'm going to read the tweet here. Hey, at Jerry Jones, real Jerry Jones. Still think Jason Garrett is the answer? For a decade now, it's the same old song and dance. I knew they were going to Jason Witten on the third down prior to touchdown, and they knew they were going to him on the 2-point conversion. Not too late to bring me back. Terrell Owens, who has not played football for a long time, is inviting the Cowboys to bring me back. It's not too late. T.O.'s in great shape. Yeah, if you want to bring him back, hey, I don't know. But that's hilarious. Hey, you know what's funny? T.O. and Jason Garrett have history. T.O. and Tony Romo have history. And Jason Witten. It's the same old mess, especially with Jason Witten. Jason Witten can't run 10 yards or more than 10 yards. Jason Witten knows how to get to that first down marker and lay down and wait for the pass. And seemingly nobody has figured that out yet. But T.O. is basically pointing out how predictable the Cowboys' offense is. You know what's interesting? One of the things I pointed out in the beginning of the season was how much better Dak Prescott looked. How great of a job Kellen Moore, you know Kellen Moore, former backup quarterback for the Cowboys, turned offensive coordinator out of nowhere. They hired him as the offensive coordinator. And I thought he was doing a great job, as well as y'all did. But in their last 3 games, they have been horribly predictable. Ezekiel Elliott has been a no-show since he got his money. Feed Zeke. He got fed and he ain't doing nothing. Got that huge contract. Now Dak wants his money. Would you pay Dak Prescott the money he's asking for way he now you can't even beat the Jets? I don't know. And I wanted Dak to get his money. But you can't go out here like this. Oh, y'all thought these were all the tweets. No, I got another one. Let's get rid of T.O. here. Oh, another former Cowboy, much more recently, Dez Bryant. Throw up the X. Dez Bryant. Former Cowboys heroes. He was asked on Twitter, as you can see here by Safwan, I don't know what type of Twitter name that is, but he asked Dez Bryant, quote, "What do you see as the biggest flaw, bro?" And Dez said, quote, on his Twitter, as you can see it, but I'll read it to you anyway. "Nothing to do with the players. Whenever training camp starts, Cowboys, it's training camp until the season is over. A lot of pointless meetings. Not enough time for the players to recover from injuries, preparing for the next game. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting thoughts from old Dez Bryant and company. Dez spent a lot of time under Jason Garrett with Tony Romo as well. Of course, after T.O. was gone. Dez was a great receiver for the Cowboys for most of his time there, but in typical Cowboy receiver fashion, he was dropped. And as you can see, Dez is still trying to get a job in the league after that injury he suffered, unfortunately, last year that kept him out as soon as he got signed to the New Orleans Saints. Dez is still hoping to get signed somewhere. So it's a bit of irony that these two guys are the guys that are speaking out. But nonetheless, if anybody would know, it would be Dez. He spent many training camps under Jason Garrett. So what do y'all think? Verdell, Frankie coming in the building. Let me read this. Verdell with the angry faces. Then he says, I'm angry at Jerry for holding on to this clown for 10 years. Bob says, set the Cowboy fans free. LOL Dallas. I know y'all appreciate that. Frankie says, Cowboys all day, every day. So she's repping to the end, I see. Ride or die. I am still pissed about the game yesterday. I'm still holding out hope that Jason Garrett will be gone soon. I don't know, soon, very soon. Doesn't seem like it. Verdell says Dez has said it. Cole Beasley, opposing teams have said it. Yeah. Everybody seems to know what the problem is, except Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and the Jones family that run the Dallas Cowboys. Is Jason Garrett the problem? Well, I was going to ask Cowboy Nation, but it seems like y'all have given me an answer. Now, Hardnard was on here a minute ago. The king of the Cowboy fan club around here in Memphis. I don't know if he dipped out or not. Shame. But if you're still out there, I already know you got some thoughts. You got some loud thoughts, I know. Somewhere. So you might as well air them here if you're still out there, brother. But if you do, you know how to hit me up here or give me a call if you can see on the screen. Let me put up the number back up here. 912136020 if you have any thoughts on the Cowboys' woes and O's and L's. Nothing but L's. I saw Shannon Sharp, and man, I didn't put this picture, I just thought about it. He showed a picture of himself as a waiter serving a hot plate of L's to Dak Prescott and Dez Bryant and not Dez Bryant, Ezekiel Elliott and Jerry Jones, ready to eat a plate of L's, losses. There was at least 3 of them since they've lost 3 in a row. So y'all still let me know what you feeling, how you feeling. And y'all, look, I put the Facebook post up earlier. Last night, as a matter of fact. Cowboy fans have gone from, we're going to win the Super Bowl, to fire everybody, man. All of them. Y'all ready to fire everybody on your team already. So, hey, it's very entertaining, I must say. Now, I know some of you guys have thrown this in my face, and I am going to address it here at the end. I wanted to wait till the end of the show because I didn't. GKP is still voicing his anger with the angry emojis. But despite all of this, I waited to the end of the show to bring this out. And I'm going to be honest. The Tennessee Titans lost to the Denver Broncos. As many of you pointed out to me yesterday, when I didn't ask, 16-0. To the Denver Broncos, 16-0. To nothing. They made the Denver Broncos defense look like that 2014 Denver Broncos defense. You remember that team? The Broncos had Marcus Ware and Von Miller. And a secondary that was unbelievable. And Peyton Manning at quarterback. That team that made Cam Newton look terrible after Cam Newton was having an MVP caliber season. That defense that wreaked havoc on the entire NFL. That was the defense that looked like had reappeared in Denver when the Titans went down to Mile High Stadium. And I'm very confused. I know DeMarcus Ware has retired. They had another DeMarcus out there, DeMarcus Walker. I don't think that's the same guy. I'm not sure what's happening there. Von Miller is still there and still a force to be reckoned with. But you know what? I saw the Denver Broncos fans in some articles like, well, Denver's beginning to turn the corner with Joe Flacco. No, they're not. Denver is terrible. Denver stinks. Denver is abysmal. I did see your stuff about the goose egg, GKP. It was a big fat goose egg the Titans put up there. That loss, that win by the Broncos, had nothing to do with the Denver Broncos. Nothing. It didn't have to do with Joe Flacco's sorry self missing wide open receivers. It didn't have nothing to do with the 30,000 punts between the Denver Broncos and the Titans in that game. One of the most boring games I've ever seen. And I didn't watch too much of it because I already knew the story. I knew the story. I knew that Marcus Mariota is going to play like a headlights. I knew that offensive coordinator, former tight ends coach turned offensive coordinator Arthur Smith was going to call plays like a tight ends coach would. I knew that everything would happen except for Marcus Mariota getting benched. I did not see that happening, but it needed to happen. And you're talking to a guy that called him, Money Mariota. You're talking about a guy that, believed in Mariota magic. You know what I mean? I was a believer I wasn't when they first drafted him. I wanted Jameis Winston. But when Marcus Mariota, his first game as a rookie, and I can see it in my mind right now, ironically, his first regular season game was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Jameis Winston, the quarterback that, went ahead of him. And ironically, Marcus Mariota in that same game throws 4 touchdowns in his first NFL start. Then he has the big run against the Jaguars, 99 yards down the field for a touchdown. Then he completely continued to improve his game year after year. Where 2 seasons ago, when the Titans beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round of the playoffs, Mariota had 26 touchdowns and 10 interceptions and looked like he was the future. And now, I don't think it's all the way Mariota's fault, but he's done. Marcus Mariota is broken. He's broken, and it's not even his fault. It's the offensive line's fault. It's the head coach's fault. It's Mike Mularkey's fault, who's not even here anymore. It's whoever that joker was before him. I don't even remember who that was. I just remember it was a disaster. It's Mike Vrabel's fault. It's the head coach of the Green Bay Packers' fault. That was our offensive coordinator last year that took off and left. After one season, become the head coach of the Packers. Everything looks easy when you got Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. It's Arthur Smith's fault, who's terrible at calling plays. It is terrible. I honestly still believe Mariota is talented. But now his mind, his confidence is shot. He's scared to take a hit because the offensive line forgot how to block. He's scared to throw because he thinks he's going to get hit every time he throws. It's a panic. It's a hesitation. It's a stumble. When he tries to take a shot down the field just to appease us, he throws an interception or overthrows everybody in the stadium. It's a disaster. It's a total disaster. And you know what the shame of it is? This Titans defense is one of the best in the NFL. They're averaging, opponents are scoring 14 points a game on defense. Look at what they did to Denver. As bad as they are, they shut them down for the most part. Denver couldn't do nothing the whole game. The defense gives the offense so many opportunities to succeed, and they refuse to do so. We got a future star in A.J. Brown at wide receiver. We got a really good receiver in Corey Davis. We got a good wide receiver in Adam Humphries. We got an all-pro tight end in Delaney Walker. We got a really good up-and-coming tight end in Jonnu Smith. We have a running back that is leading the NFL in rushing over the last 10 games, dating back to last season, in Derrick Henry. But what's the problem? Our play calling is crap, our coaching is crap, and our quarterback play is the same. I don't have any more patience for scared Mariota. He needs to go sit down. If you're scared, go home. Go sit down. I got time for it, man. And Mike Vrabel over there looking like a Jeff Fisher clone with that stupid mustache he grew on his face. Looks like a piece of grass, crabgrass he grew on his face. He's got the Jeff Fisher mustache. How can you grow the Jeff Fisher mustache and expect to be successful in the NFL? He messed up his own career when he grew that stupid mustache that looked just like that Jeff Fisher's. And now we look like a Jeff Fisher team that don't know how to throw the ball, that is tearing up Derrick Henry with all these runs, and is killing the quarterback. Like they did, Steve McNair was tougher. He knew how to handle it. Mariota's from Hawaii. He ain't used to all this. Mariota's from the islands of Hawaii where they got volcanoes and they play on the beach all day and surf. He ain't used to getting hit like this. Let that boy sit down. We need to start Ryan Tannehill's average self for the rest of the season. Go ahead and get these 8-9 wins, maybe 7 or 6, and move on. Because I'm going to tell you, Tannehill's going to be an improvement from Mariota because he's not scared to death. Mariota is a scared little hamster. You know, look at his eyes. He don't even show any emotion anymore. He's just out here looking like this. You know, what's the next play, coach? That's all he's doing. The man is gone. His mind is gone. I hate it for him, but it's. But anyway, I just had to let y'all know how I feel. I just had to let y'all know. Y'all are laughing, man, but I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Kelly says, throw Jeff Fisher in there too, homie Josh. Look, no. Keep Jeff Fisher out of here. GKP says, we don't believe you. You need more people. Oh, I know the song. Kelly said, crabgrass. He's laughing at that. Verdell said, not field goal Fisher. Yeah, field goal Fisher. Now it's, field goal Vrabel. We can't even make a field goal. Goose egg Vrabel. He looks like a goose with that mustache. I'm out of here. That's it. I didn't even get to the 49ers because they deserve respect. Do y'all know? I don't think most people know this. Do y'all know the San Francisco 49ers are undefeated? Do y'all know they're 5-0? Y'all know they just beat the Rams 20-7? What in the world's going on? When have the 49ers been relevant? So I'm going to get more into that probably. My goodness. But anyway, man, I'm going to leave y'all with this, because it's made me feel a little better about my situation with the Tennessee Titans. As pathetic as it may be, I'm still glad that we're not the Dallas Cowboys. Because this is what the Dallas Cowboys are all about.
I reckon you Cowboy fans are a little bit miserable today, aren't you? I mean, after all, you went from 3-0 and undefeated, and everybody talking about that, to being a mid-500 team right now. A matter of fact, right now, I'd say those playoff aspirations that you have are in low danger. I wonder where you're gonna go from here. And I know you're wondering, what is that Stephen A. Smith gonna say? Well, guess what? Today's Stephen A. Smith's birthday, but his present arrived yesterday. I'm so sorry. But in case you're crying, I got a little gift for you.
Oh, man. Hey, I love it, man. All day, that's going to cheer me up, no matter what. That y'all are still the Cowboys. Nonetheless, man, I'm out of here. I'm Josh, TalkBackLiveSPORTS. I'll be back tomorrow, same time. Y'all know what it is. Stay tuned for Talkback Live Network for more shows coming up all day, every day. And I'm out of here, man. So, also, real quick, I saw a couple of y'all talking about, Lotta Burger, that the commercial make y'all want to go down there. Well, go down there. Go on down there and tell them that you heard it from us and that you heard the frying on the commercial make you hungry. I think it was either Kelly or both of y'all. But y'all just let them know what's up, man. That's going to do it for me. I'm out of here. See ya.
If you're looking for some of the best old-fashioned burgers and cakes in town, Lotta Burger is the place to go for all of your favorites. Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. And the items on their menu include single, double, triple burgers, Philly sandwiches, smoked sausages, beef hot dogs, grilled cheese, tenders, fries, onion rings, and more. Call in orders must be done before 11 a.m. No calls accepted after 11 a.m. Drive-thru is available. Hungry for a burger? Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. Don't just settle for any burger. Get a Lotta Burger.
Are you tired of going to the doctor with the same issue over and over again and never getting any relief? Are you tired of buying all types of vitamins and supplements, hoping but not knowing for sure that they will keep you healthy? Or are you getting enough of the right kind of nutrients that your specific body needs? If you answer yes to any of these questions, you need a nutritional blood analysis. With a nutritional blood analysis, we can take one drop of blood from a prick of your finger and analyze your body's nutritional needs, nutritional deficiencies, and nutritional imbalances. This analysis can provide an early warning of possible future health challenges so you can make the changes now to avoid a negative outcome. A nutritional blood analysis can be used to monitor a health challenge before and after adopting an approach to restore health and balance. It will also allow you the ability to determine the effectiveness of various approaches to restoring and balancing your health. So don't wait. Make your appointment. Stop guessing with your health. Know what works for sure. 901-602-7063.
C Graphic Printing, located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, a complete print shop for all your printing needs. They do it all: color copy, resume, funeral program, rubber stamp, full color business cards, wedding and graduation invitations, and more. 30 plus years of quality work and service. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, Tennessee, 901-345-9294. C Graphics Printing. CJU's Appliances, located at 3530 Jackson Avenue here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-487-7882. CJU's Appliances have the best prices in town. Sales and service, heating and air. Also the best appliances you'll find anywhere in the Mid-South. Refrigerators, microwave stoves, washers and dryers, deep freezers, dishwashers, whatever you need in used appliances. And folks will tell you they're the best used appliances anywhere you'll find. That's CJ Used Appliances, 3530 Jackson Avenue. All appliances come with warranty. You can call them at 901-487-7882. Again, 901-487-7882. CJ Used Appliances. C&S Motors Auto Sales, located at 2508 Southern Avenue, here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-323-8778. C&S Motors Auto Sales has been around since 1984. Go by and see Chris Day for some of the best pre-owned and used vehicles in the city. They have SUVs, minivans, cars, trucks, whatever you're looking for in pre-owned used vehicles. Hey, you can find it right there at C&S Motors Auto Sales. See Chris since 1984. They will treat you right. Call them at 901-323-8778. That's 901-323-8778. 2508 Summer Avenue, C&S Motors Auto Sales.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of the body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt, to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or a mobile device. So, can I still talk to my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.